I could see in the future that we would run into labour problems, and we were actually having labour problems at the time as we didn't need 4 men on staff all year round. So the easiest way to get out of that, we thought, was to get bigger machinery. The problem was we couldn't get tractors big enough to pull bigger machinery until we saw this machine of David's. And after investigating that and comparing it with other machines of similar types, we found we couldn't get anything as wide as David's and as easy to pull. We were looking for something that would go through trash and give us the best soil seed contact that we could get. We were looking for something that would allow us to moisture seek, and after looking at most of the major machines on the market, this was the one that we thought had the best time set up to do that. The parallelogram system was probably the thing that really sold us to us. The fact that going through melon holes, which we've got quite a few of here, or over contour banks or whatever, the seed depth stayed at the same depth. We have a grey clay brigalow-blah type soil. We get some red knobs in it. The soil changes within paddocks from very heavy soil to the redder knobs, and we can actually adjust on the go as we're going through these. If we're going into the redder soil where it's usually a bit drier come planting time, we just push the pressure up a bit more, and that also helps the tine penetrate in those harder areas. Plus it gives you that better soil seed contact in that red soil. The machine does an excellent job in that type of country, follows the contours very well, goes over contour banks, over roads, and maintains that same depth for the seed, whether you're on top of the contour or below it, or in the bottom of a melon hole or on the top. The seed placement is excellent. We're very, very happy with that. We find that the seed tends to germinate a lot quicker because we have got it shallower, and it's compressed in moisture. The soil seed contact is excellent. If we compare it with our past machines, our seed certainly bounces out of the ground quicker. We're able to get that consistency of planting depth, and the seed will come out quicker because it's compacted and because it's shallower and because it's in the moisture. In the past, when we planted with our ordinary conventional machines, the seed was very uneven in coming out. The wings might be deeper, or the centre might be deeper, or you go through an undulating spot which will create one side to be deeper than the other, and we've certainly eliminated all of that. We farm a number of properties around here consisting of about 10,000 acres for cultivation. It's 30 k's away to the furthest block. In the past, we've had 2 planters doing the job that this one planter does. It'd be lovely to have a button that you just press and it folds up, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. It takes 2 men about an hour to fold it, and we did have transport difficulties when we first got it. We've now ironed those out, and it transports relatively easily. I suppose compared to moving 2 other planters, it takes about a similar time. We actually pull up the 100 foot with 450 horsepower on single wheels. For some reason last year we had quite a bit of trouble doing that. We were using 100% of our power, whereas this year we're down to 70 to 80% of our power and only about 6, 7, 8% wheel slip. We found that it's cut our labour back. We can get over easily 1,000 acres a day in a 24-hour day without any trouble with it, and it's certainly sped our operation up. We've gone for the 13 1/3 inch time spacing. We're very happy with that. We believe that with the width we've got, we can afford to go slow and still get over the acres, and we can still pull that width at considerable depth. When we start off and there's plenty of moisture, we poke along around about 10, 11 kilometres per hour, which gives us 30 plus hectares an hour. And then as the moisture goes down, we come back to about 8.4. We tend to think that at 8.4 kilometres per hour, the machine does work at its best as far as throwing dirt on from one tine to the other. That way at 8.4 we get the perfect rills. As far as our fuel consumption goes, we have found that we're using roughly the same as what we were using with our past planters. The only difference is instead of pulling around about 13 metres, we're pulling 30 metres. So we've more than halved our fuel consumption when it comes to planting. As far as service goes with the machine, David has been excellent. Any problems I've had, he's been very willing to listen. When there's been a problem there, he's always been very happy to come up with a solution and supply us with the parts or the necessary items to correct that problem. We've had a few friends buy similar machines of other makes, and we're very pleased that we've actually bought this one. I actually had a fellow from another area come here to have a look at this machine, and when he arrived here and hopped out of his vehicle, the first thing he said to me, he said, "By gee, you were thinking out of the square when you bought this," and that never really occurred to me, but I suppose if you look at what David Trevelyan does do up there, he certainly doesn't restrict himself to the square. And it was within a fortnight this fellow had gone home and bought one after seeing it operate, and I believe he's very, very pleased with it. My advice to anyone who is considering buying a new seeding device is to have a look at this machine operating. There are other machines on the market that perhaps look neater, but whether they do the same job would be questionable. I think once you see them operating, that's a really big plus for them.